I'll say, I know we're going to get into it as well, but just a kind of a quick thing is if you are strained for time right now, Whatnot is a lot more time consuming than say like Amazon or some of the other platforms. There's a lot of work that goes into it, like before the show, then obviously during the show, and then after as well. So I'm a full-time reseller though. I've been successful on Amazon for years, and then we just switched over, not fully. Like I still have my Amazon account. We still do. I probably do like 35,000 a month or something on Amazon, but a majority of my efforts and resources now is going towards Whatnot. But it is very time consuming. Like I have less hours in the day than before I was doing it and whenever I was doing Amazon full time. So that is one of the things that you'll have to kind of factor in. I'm sure we'll get into as the show goes on, but just letting everybody know, like this isn't something for like time freedom or anything, especially not up front until you build out a team. So.
All right, sweet. Oh, hold on. Before, I mean, we started the recording, but let me let my boy Brian get in because we can't represent without Brian in the room. So,
hey, Brian, good to see you, man.
Here he is. If you're talking, Brian, you are on mute.
You are muted, my friend. You are muted.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Good to see you. Yeah, I mean, just working my butt off, man. Honestly, like I'm putting in some serious hours right now. I'm sure you can tell, by the chats and stuff like that. I'm just trying to stay focused and just kind of.
I hear you. I know. Same. So that's why it has been, a little bit dead. But I wanted to just, stop on in before we start bats here in this house soon. So.
We will have the replay, and we always appreciate you coming in.
So, Omar, you feeling better?
I'm here, man. You feeling better? I'm sick, but listen, Whatnot is the wave, so we could not have. Hey, Sammy. People can see you, right, Sammy?
Yeah, she knows.
People can see you.
People can see
I know you like that.
Yeah.
So, all right, so here we go. So we are back with call number 63. Very, very excited about this one. I'm excited about all the calls, but this one feels a little bit different, and the energy building around this show is just crazy because we're talking about Whatnot tonight, the opportunity, which is not just talk, it's not marketing, it's not exaggeration. The opportunity is here. People have been talking about it for the last several months to a year. We know a couple people in New Jersey who are doing big things as far as Whatnot's concerned, but what is it, how it works, how do you get started? That's been the thing that's been eluding me. And I've been recently talking to people, seeing people like All Out Thompsons who are on tonight doing their shows. I was just on my buddy Santi's show a little bit earlier. A lot of people in the last several days to last week or two are getting on Whatnot. And I want to get on Whatnot. I have a Whatnot page, but I don't know what to do. Me and Brian, who's also from New Jersey, talking about Whatnot. Tonight, we bring on Vernon Johns, who has been on before, talking about how he scaled his business to over $1 million doing RA and what that's kind of given him as far as freedom is concerned. And talking to him in the last, I would say probably, we've been talking about this for probably like the last 45 days, bringing him on. The excitement I feel from him, and I just met him, so I don't know if I'm getting this right, but it feels like he's even more excited about this opportunity. And so, yeah, let's bring him on. Let's see what it's about. Let's understand what Whatnot is at its basic form, and let's talk about how people like us, Amazon, Walmart, eBay, Mercari sellers can get on the wave and maybe find something even better than what we're doing. Or just a supplement, we'll see. But with that, listen, I'd love to welcome you back, Vernon, and say thank you for coming back and blessing the community again.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it, and I love the energy, and I appreciate everybody, like I said, being here tonight, hanging out with us on a random, Tuesday night. So Whatnot, the basics of it, so basically, you're taking, if you're selling on eBay, Walmart, Amazon, whatever the case right now is, you're just kind of waiting for these orders to come in, right? You're posting an item that you feel like is a good value to a customer, that you bought at a good price, that you're going to be able to turn a profit on, and you're just waiting for these customers to come by and buy those items. And obviously, like Amazon's the big player right now. They have the most customers out of any platform online. They have a huge market share. So that's been a great value to me. It's been a great blessing to me. But the fees and everything like that, and then how long they actually hold your money, how long your money's tied up and everything, have kind of made me look for different opportunities. Because I mean, I was talking to my CPA the other day, and we have like $150,000 in inventory that's just tied up between like either things that are selling slowly or Amazon just waiting to pay us out or whatever the case. So in September, I don't even remember how exactly I stumbled upon it. I think I saw it on Facebook or something, the Whatnot opportunity, and looked into it, got an account, watched a couple of shows and everything. And I was telling my wife, I was like, hey, I come up with new ideas all the time, you know, especially being a full-time reseller, like you have ideas all the time. But I was like, hey, I think this could be an opportunity for us because you're not waiting around anymore for people to buy your items. You're actually actively taking them to the marketplace. Just like if you were doing a yard sale or a flea market or something like that, you're taking your items to your customers right there. They have the ability to be able to buy those, you know, right in front of you, and then you ship them out the next day. Or I think Whatnot gives you like 3 days, but we try to ship things out as quick as possible. But just the opportunity. So if I took 100 items for Amazon and I sent those in, it would take me about 90 days probably to get all of my money back from those items. You know, the sell through, them paying out, it getting sent into the FBA, wherever the warehouse is going to go. And then there's FC transfers. There's just a lot of things that go on with Amazon. With Whatnot, I can literally buy an item that morning, do a show, and get paid out in the exact same day. There's no delay whatsoever. So that's the Whatnot opportunity that you're looking at. Just the ability to be able to turn your money over, and you could literally do that every single day if you actually had the resources and the actual team to do that. And there's people that are absolutely crushing it. It is very time consuming though. So I went from, I've done millions of dollars on Amazon. And I went from the time freedom of working hard for like 2 or 3 hours, maybe a day, to now I'm working like at least 8 to 10 hours on Whatnot a day, trying to build this thing out, trying to build my team out, and working with my wife to kind of work out the kinks and just continue to improve our shows. And it is paying off. I'm making a full-time income on Whatnot now. I still have the Amazon checks coming in. So life is pretty good as far as financially. But I am working harder than I've ever worked on Amazon until you actually build out the team, have the facility and stuff like that. But the opportunity is you take your items and you're able to actually sell those to the customer and get paid in the same day. That's what you're looking at with Whatnot. I hope that answered your question, man.
So for people like, so I know we have a couple of people who sell on Whatnot, and so we'll get into some more, the strategy and specifics like that. But if we think about Whatnot, can you explain exactly how it works in the platform and just some of the basic information for them?
Yep. So the basic thing would be Whatnot is a live auction platform. So basically, like we're live right now. So if I was the seller, I would have all my merchandise behind me or in the same room as me. You would all be the buyers, and I wouldn't be able to see any of you. It's like it's kind of like a social media / e-commerce platform. It's kind of both of those. So you can follow people, you can connect with people, you can message people, but there's just a message board whenever you go into there. I would be the only person that you could actually see. I wouldn't be able to see any of you, and you communicate through chat in there. And basically, whatever items I do, mostly clothing and shoes. And my name is Names You Know on there. Names You Know is mine and my wife's page. So if y'all want to follow us, like, and get some tips or whatever the case, we're going live on Thursday and Friday of this week. So if you want to check it out, there's a lot of weird stuff on Whatnot. We run a very structured show. I run it like a business. So you would be able to pick up some stuff just from watching some of the shows if you want to pop in. But basically, like I would go live, I'd have my items with me, and I hold up an item and I say, hey, I have this shirt here. It's a men's size large, whatever color, whatever brand. And then I start all my bids at $5. So, it could be an $80 shirt or a $60 shirt that you're holding up. Like some of the Nike stuff, if y'all are selling on Amazon and stuff, some of that stuff's pretty expensive. On Amazon, you could pay, $40, $50 for a Nike shirt. Well, you hold it up, Nike shirt, starting at $5, and then everybody in the chat. So say there's 20 of y'all in here. Everybody has the ability to be able to actually bid on that. They have their accounts already set up and everything, and all they have to do is swipe their finger. They bid it up, and it has a timer that goes down. And once that timer runs out, whoever's in the lead for that wins that item. And then it goes into their inventory, and you ship it. Like it'll basically hold that item for them. The money goes into an account that's held by Whatnot until you actually ship out that item and your item is sold. And the thing I love about Whatnot is there's no returns or anything like that. So it's an auction format. So all sales are final. I mean, you can cancel or something like that. Like if it's on me as the seller, like I can cancel something. But basically, like you're doing a live auction, people are bidding against each other for your items. And then whoever wins that item, you set it aside, you put a number on it, and that'll continue on until the show ends. So that's the basics of like what it is.
And a question for you, because I think about, like an eBay show or something like that. This is more like if you're old enough, like an HSN, like you see it on the screen for a little bit of time and then you sell it and then it's gone, right? It's not like long term, it's very, very short. Like, are they like 5 seconds, 45 seconds, or is it variable? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so Whatnot is extremely flexible. And one real quick, this doesn't really pertain to the question, but I think I need to say this is like you're actually, so on Amazon or eBay or anything else, like you're building basically their brand. On Whatnot, you are literally building your own brand. Like people are coming to shop for you. There could be 10 people selling the same shirt and they're going to come to you to buy that shirt versus on Amazon, it's just whoever has the buy box, right? So that's what I love about it is like if you're a friendly person, you provide great customer service and stuff, you can win on this platform. And it doesn't matter like how small you are, what your inventory is, or whatever the case. If you have a good personality and you have great customer service, those people are winning on Whatnot. So I just want to throw that out there. And I kind of got off track there, but yeah. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I just felt like I had to say that.
No. And so it was just like you can make it like a 5-second auction, a minute auction. Like it's variable, right?
Yeah, so it's up to you. So that's what I was going into with building your brand. So with us, our customers expect that it's going to be between a 5 and 10 sec. Usually 5 would be, well, the very basics is we start at 15, and then as the show goes on and it goes, like if the night's about to end and everything, you can get it down to a 10-second auction or a 5-second auction. But we usually start at the 15-second mark. And then every time somebody else bids against somebody, so say like it starts at 5, somebody bids 6. If it only had 2 seconds left, it can jump back up to a certain time as well. So you can set that up. So how I usually do it is like I'll have a 15-second timer. Whenever it gets to that 5 seconds or less and it goes, somebody else throws a bid in there, like last second trying to take it, it'll jump up 5 seconds to give somebody else an opportunity to bid on that if they want instead of the time just running out. So. But I mean, it's very, very flexible. You can also set it up to where once that timer runs out, that's just it. It's called sudden death. And you can set it up to where in 10 seconds or 30 seconds, whenever that timer goes off, whoever has that last bid is the winner. So right. There's multiple different options to be able to set up on there.
So I'm already approved, but like, let's say there's somebody on the call is brand new and it's like, oh, you know what? I heard what Vernon said. I really want to get started. Is this like a Amazon type thing where you got to get approved? Is it like a Walmart where like the wait is like months? Like how do you get started?
Yeah, so if you're selling on any platform right now, the process is going to be very, very similar. So it's nothing to stress out about. I think Omar is going to link my seller referral in the comments there. But just click on that, or you can go on the website yourself. You don't have to use the referral link, however you want to do it. But just go on there, say you want to apply for an account. It's going to help if you have like your LLC and you're actually a legit business setup. That's going to help your process. But getting kicked back or anything like that is not something you really need to worry about until it happens. I would just say just go through the process. It is very, very step-by-step. Whatnot is very user-friendly. And it's going to walk you through step-by-step how to actually get set up on there. So I think in the future, we'll have a guide where it's like more detailed, like click this button. But for now, I would just say go on there and just take the steps to actually get set up and see if you get approved. If you're a legit business and you already have experience on another platform, there's no reason why they would deny you access to be able to get on.
And I applied last week and I feel like I was approved like almost immediately.
Yeah, it's very simple.
That was a little bit, it wasn't hard, but it's just like anything else. Like these days when you're getting paid, I had to like use my ID. So they wanted a picture of my ID, the front and back, and then a selfie. and then I was approved for that instantly.
Yeah.
So I think it's fairly simple, unlike, you know, what the experience is with Walmart right now. So perfect. Okay. All right. So I did drop that invite link in there, and so if you sign up with that, you'll get an extra $150 when you sell your first $150. So that's pretty cool.
Yes.
So appreciate that. So you said you were looking for alternative. I mean, what you're saying about how quickly you can get paid, how quickly you can turn over inventory, it sounds really fantastic. But for you who have a specific business where you're doing RA, you're sending in stuff to Amazon, it's structured in a certain way. Talk about how you've kind of pivoted. I know you still do Amazon, but how did you get yourself set up to start your first Whatnot show?
Right. So it's really funny, actually. If anybody sells on Amazon, you know, you get returns. You know, everybody here has experienced like getting returns back in the mail and stuff, and I still get them. We haven't even sent that much stuff FBM, but I'm still getting returns like every couple of days and everything, just because we've had so much volume that's gone through. And that's one of the annoying things of being an Amazon seller, right? It has its pros and cons just like anything else. But we actually used a lot of that stuff, like the clothing and stuff like that, is a lot of name brand good stuff, and it gets returned. And then, but maybe it has like a small flaw, or it doesn't have the tag anymore or something like that. I use some of that stuff. And then I just did the same thing. I went out and sourced, and it's a different strategy because people aren't paying Amazon prices on Whatnot. You cannot expect that. You know, nobody is going to, if you have a Nike hoodie, it could go for $15. It could go for $10, you know. There's no, it really depends on how many people are actually bidding against each other for that item. And the more people you can get in, it is going to be the better. But how I got started was I just used inventory that I had already had, picked out some of the stuff that I had extra on from Amazon, and then just went out and sourced specifically like cheaper socks that I could find, any t-shirts that were maybe out of season or something like that I could find that were name brand, and just kind of started with that. And I've just kind of learned as I've went. Now we have a different strategy where we source a lot of like wholesale, and we source like liquidation pallets and stuff like that, because you can get a lot of inventory for a really cheap price. And I see a lot of people having success with that. So the model has kind of shifted. But to get your start, I mean, just find free stuff around your house, or I would say use your Amazon inventory that you have left over, or just look on like Facebook Marketplace. If somebody's got a couple free bags of clothes or something like that, just go pick those up. It literally costs nothing to start. Just use the resources that you have and just kind of fill it out, and then just kind of tweak it as you go. That's what I'd recommend. Oh, you're muted, brother.
All right, sorry about that. Couple things. So I'm going to start my first show tonight. I'm not, but let's just say I am, right? I'm ready to go live. I'm signed up. I got my account. If you were to kind of guide, like, how much inventory would I need to do my first show? Obviously, it could be whatever, but like, you know, do I need 50 pieces, 150 pieces, 5, 10, 1,000? Like, what would you recommend?
Yeah, so it depends on the person. The best answer, and this is not like you know, me trying to be like smart or anything like that, but I would say whatever gets you started, that's the piece count that you should actually use. Whether it's, you could literally go live and sell 10 pieces, or try to sell 10 pieces and just kind of fill it out. And then it's going to give you the analytics after you're done with your show. It's amazing, because Whatnot will actually send you an email saying like, hey, this is how much you sold. This is how much you made. This is how long you were on. It gives you all the information that you actually need to break down to better yourself for that next show. So if you're uncomfortable with setting up 150 pieces or 200 pieces, we usually do about 150 to 200 pieces per show. That's what we try for. And then if it goes wild, we'll usually have totes of excess clothes. So we'll have like another 100 pieces just sitting in a tote that's not show ready or anything like that. But if the show's absolutely going wild, you don't want to miss out on the opportunity and more money, right? So like last night was an example of that. It was a really, really good show. So, I mean, I was tempted to go out to my garage and just start slinging tools and, you know, selling my lawnmower and stuff. Like, it was, some nights are just wild like that, where you're just trying to sell everything because you're like, holy cow, man. Like, people are literally like, they're just like those little koi fish, you know, in the pond, and you throw the pebbles in there and they're just like all going crazy after that. That's what it felt like last night. There was just like piranhas in the water or something, like they were just going crazy.
Right.
And some shows are like that. But to start, you just need to get started. That's the real thing. And so I would say if it's 5 pieces, if it's 10 pieces, whatever you have laying around, just set up your show and just go for it. And then it's going to give you feedback and then say, hey, I did this well, I didn't do this well, and just kind of grow from there. So my first show was horrible. I'll tell everybody. We set up, I think we had like 100 pieces. My first show, I used my, this is a pro tip. Don't use your computer to go live. You want to use your phone, and you want to have one of the ring lights as well. You don't have to, obviously, but it is very advised that you have a nice ring light and you use your phone to go live with. That is going to help you tremendously, because we tried to use a computer and the lighting was absolutely horrible when we went live for the first time. And we made several mistakes, but me and my wife have been in this game long enough to where we're like, okay, that's what happened. We sold, I think we did like $178 or something like that. Our first show, it wasn't great, but we sold some stuff and we're like, hey, this went well. This didn't work out. And we dusted ourselves off and we set up our next show, and that's kind of how it went. And now, I look forward to going live every time, but you don't need a bunch of stuff to get started, though. That's for sure.
So I have a ton of questions to ask you here, but if anybody's been on this community call before, me, I love real life, and the Thompsons are on here, and I really appreciated their show, because the question we were trying to answer there is like, when are you ready to go full time if you have a job? And this, I love, this is a great teaching moment, because you said you made a bunch of mistakes on your first show. Yes. I'd love to hear about those.
Okay. So mistakes, when I said I use a computer instead of the phone, you want to have a ring light, which we did not have, because obviously we use the computer for the first time.
Not to stop you, but what's the difference between a computer and a phone? Because I would think a computer would be better than a phone.
Yeah, no. Well, maybe my computer, I don't know anybody that goes live and they're on the computer. Maybe there are people that have like really nice computer cameras or whatever, but I have a newer iPhone, and it's just really good visual.
Right.
People, whenever they're going to a live auction, right, they can't feel the item, they can't smell the item, like they can't touch the item. All they can do is see it and then hear what you're actually saying about it. And that's how they're buying the item. So if the lighting is bad or they can't see what they're actually buying, that's going to cut out a lot of your bidders, and that's going to really hurt your case. So that was one of the biggest negatives that we had for our first show, is just the lighting has to be right. And the cool thing about Whatnot is it'll actually let you go into a practice mode. So you can use practice mode to see what it's going to look like and to just kind of set up your show and everything before you're actually in front of a live audience. So I'd recommend using that. I haven't used it personally, but I know people that do, and it's a good tool, especially if you're trying to build up your confidence and just make sure that everything is right. If you're like one of those people that are a perfectionist, I'm not. My wife is very organized, and she is, I wouldn't say a perfectionist, but she's very organized, very attention to detail. I'm more of like, hey, let's just try this, see what happens, and then improve it later. But other mistakes we made, I would say we started our bids at 5 from the beginning, because we kind of knew that people were cheaper on Whatnot. So if you started at $1, you might sell stuff for $1. Is that worth anybody's time? No, it's not. You got to pay for your time to package the stuff, to set up and everything like that. So we started at a minimum of 5, but a lot of the inventory I was selling was worth far more than $5, and I was getting $5 for that. So I would say the inventory that you start out with, especially if you do not have an audience, one of the biggest things that y'all can take away from my mistakes is just start with items that didn't cost you a lot of money. They could be nice items. You could sell stuff that's worth $30 or $40, but hopefully you didn't pay, $10, $15, $20 for that stuff, because you're probably not going to get that for your first show. So that's a big mistake that we made as well. And just learning, honestly, we just didn't know what we didn't know. So just getting started and stuff. Maybe I could have done more research and everything and done a call with this, with somebody that's actually had done it before I went live for the first time, but we just kind of jumped into it. So I think that's another mistake as well. Don't do too much research, but do a little bit of research, understand the basics. This call is a good start for y'all. And then just kind of jump in and just dissect it. But that was the mistakes that I had.
And I think, I mean, I actually, just to go against you, I'd argue that you did the right thing by not doing research, because you started. That's the problem that most people have.
Yeah.
They don't start. They waste too much time doing research, watching YouTube videos, doing a whole bunch of stuff, and then never get started. You
Yeah.
got started, and sounds like, you know, Amanda's saying that what you made was a good first show. So I truly appreciate that you got started, and now you're doing well. And so what if you didn't take that leap, and, you know, you're still thinking about it today? So I appreciate that one. So let's get to a couple of questions that were in the chat. Do you need a niche to get started? I've seen a bunch of people doing niches, but I also see people having, like, I guess they're called random pulls maybe. So it's, you know, a bunch of different stuff. Like what's your guidance on niches or not?
I would say for starting out, just sell what you have available. I mean, I honest to God say, like, if you have just stuff laying around your house that you don't necessarily care about, maybe you were going to donate it anyways, just throw it up on as long as it's nice stuff, right? You, like I said, you're building your brand, so you don't want to sell junk on there. There's people that sell fake stuff on there, people that sell stuff that's like, nope, they wouldn't wear it, nobody else would wear it. Like, you don't want to sell that kind of stuff. But whatever items you have, as long as it's in good shape and like you were going to donate that and somebody else would get use out of it, just throw it up on a Whatnot show and see if it sells. I think long term, you need to fall into a category. Like, your customers are going to come to you and say, hey, I'm going to Omar because I know he sells hats and like he has the best hats.
Oh, wait, did I freeze? Did he freeze? Who's frozen? Am I frozen? Can anybody hear me? Wait. Oh, you were frozen for a bit. When you said Omar has the best hats, that you froze for a bit.
Oh, I apologize. So like people would come to you for that. You're building your brand for like hats and stuff, and you go live at a certain time every week, and they know that you're going to start at a certain price and stuff like that. So I would say you need to kind of fall into a niche. But whenever you're first getting your feet wet and stuff like that, I know people that jump around and they'll start with like sports cards, and then part of their show they'll go to clothing, and then after that they'll go to kids' toys, and that's just what they're known for. But as long as your show structure is the same, you don't have to just sell like men's or women's clothes or kids' clothes or shoes or cards or anything like that. You can kind of make it to where people are like, okay, I'm going to this place and it's going to be like a yard sale. I don't know what to expect, but I know it's going to be like these types of items every time I go to the show. So
now, you mentioned people sell fake stuff on there. Is it so? If I say like, hey, here are these replica Gucci sneakers, is that okay? Like, are you allowed to sell fake stuff on there?
So I don't know their policy that well, but I would say that no, that they're probably against that. Okay. But Whatnot right now is I mean, it's been around for a few years now, but it's still the Wild West, honestly. Like they are extremely seller friendly. And people make all kinds of mistakes. I see some wild stuff on there and they still have accounts. So it is really the Wild West, but again, it goes back to building your customer base and your brand, and you want to be known for selling like authentic, legit stuff. Maybe it would be okay if you went forward and said, hey, I have this. It's not the real deal, but it looks like the real deal. I'm starting at this price. Y'all can still get a good deal on it, but I'm not sure. I'd have to get into their policy and actually see on that one.
Sure, so, probably. I mean, and I think went back to something Amanda was saying that for the luxury stuff there, what did she say? That there is a authentication process email. So probably they probably want all authentic stuff. And so if you're looking to sell anything that's luxury, it's probably going to be a little bit harder, which I'll dovetail into something else that somebody was asking a little bit earlier. Is there like restrictions outside of anything luxury that you can't sell, or can you sell anything?
Right, as long as it's legal, I would say go for it. Honestly, like that's one of the things that I love the most about Whatnot, and probably most everybody in this chat, is you love the sourcing aspect of e-commerce, right? Everybody loves going and spending money and like finding really good deals and really good merchandise and stuff. And with Amazon, it's getting more and more restrictive. They're going more towards like certain brands, and they want you to go like more wholesale or be working with a brand and stuff like that. With Whatnot, that's not the case. If Kohl's has a big sale, or if Walmart has some stuff clearanced out and stuff, I can grab all that stuff. I don't have to get approved to see if I'm able to sell it or anything like that. and I could literally throw it up on the show that night. There's no approval process or anything, as long as it's a legit item. Walmart sells it or Kohl's sells it or whatever the case, so it's good. And then you have that flexibility and that ability to be able to sell those things. So if you find something at 90% off, might not be good for Amazon, but on Whatnot, that's a green light. You're good to go on that. So
perfect. So here's one thing that was also a question for me, is I'm trying to understand, because sometimes we talked about this a little bit on our call. I'll go and I'll see like a sneaker channel selling like some $200 Jordans and they go for $15, or I see a Nike t-shirt that I know is worth $30 and it sells for $3. Like, how do you, and yeah, I'm sure it's different for everybody. Like I know the Thompson's got like a storage unit is a bunch of free stuff. So if they sell it for $1, it's profit, right? But if you're not getting stuff for free, how do you kind of ensure yourself that you're going to be making enough money based on the auctions?
So ChatGPT is a beautiful thing for it'll break down all the fees and stuff like that for you. So you can say like, hey, I'm buying at this, and then my average sell price was this in my show and stuff like that. How much profit can I actually make? And it can break that down for you. But the whole thing, so you have to go live and you have to sell your stuff, right? You can't just be a hoarder. Some people just like hoard stuff and they just keep buying. Like, you have to sell it. That's one thing. But the sourcing is by far the most important piece of Whatnot. If you are sourcing things for $1 to $2, you're almost guaranteed to win if you're doing a $5. Like, think about it. I can never lose money if I'm buying for $1, $2, $3, whatever the case, starting something at $5. Even if it just goes for $5, I'm still making, $1 and some change or $2 after they take their fees and everything. So that's what I do, is I really protect myself on the front end, and I find like really nice items at a high discount, and I purchase those. And I buy also volume. So like this last week, I think we bought, I don't know, probably like 1,000 pieces of clothes or something like that. And we just bought them all from one source. And then we got a heck of a discount on that to be able to do that. So just finding like either wholesalers or liquidators, buying pallets of whatever you're selling, that's going to be key. Storage units, that's a really good one as well. Usually you can get hundreds of items for a very cheap price. So the sourcing is extremely important on Whatnot. And if you source the right way, then the profit is kind of baked into the whole deal.
Okay, perfect. And so so generally you're thinking, so if you're starting something at $1, you probably only paid 50 cents for it. Or if you're starting something at $5, you probably only, paid $2.50 for it. Or even in some cases where, Amanda's talking about, like, hey, there may be some items in my show where I might lose $5, but in aggregate, if I had $150 worth of inventory, but I made 400, even if I lost $10 on a couple of items, I'm just worried about what I did over the entire show. Is that kind of a thought process that you use?
So I can't say I've never lost money on an item, especially my first show. Like I started out some stuff that I was selling on Amazon, got back, and like I didn't make money for that. I was just kind of ditching the inventory. But nowadays in this show, I can honestly say like it is extremely rare that I'll ever lose or break even on any item, just because I've sourced well enough and I have a $5 start price, and I know the audience is going to be there to be able to get those to the prices that I need them to be. But like this isn't a casino where you're going and you're rolling the dice or the roulette table or anything like that, see what number it lands on. Like, you have to have your prices baked in. You have to buy as cheaply as possible and then do a start price that makes sense, that if it sells, worst case scenario, it sells at your starting price, that you still are making money. That's what I'd recommend to anybody. There's a lot of stuff going around, especially on social media, that says like, hey, it's okay, you don't have an audience, you're losing money for your shows, like this different stuff. No, that's not okay. You need to look at your systems and you need to say, okay, I need to source better. And you can't tell me that it's not possible to go out and find clothing, Pokemon cards, football cards, whatever you want to sell, it doesn't matter. You can find those items at a very inexpensive price or free to be able to start those items and then just get the ball rolling for yourself. But I never lose money. I haven't had a single show where I've lost money. So I just want to throw that out there. Like we've had some bad shows. I've had some stuff that I've experimented with and it hasn't worked, but we always have that price kind of baked in to where no matter what happens, we're at least going to break even or make money on every single item that we sell. And I give away some expensive stuff too. I give away Nike bags. Last night we gave away a Nike bag, an Under Armour bag, and an Adidas bag for free. But I had that cost already baked in some of the other items that I was selling and kind of how we do it. So if y'all want to see like the marketing and stuff like that side of it, like I said, come to one of our shows and you can see kind of how we do that. And but as good of deals as it looks like people are getting, we're never losing money. We will never lose money because we just have it set up that way. So that's what I'd recommend for everybody. It's just like source as good as possible. If you think it's not possible to find brand new clothes for $3, $4, $5, it is possible. You just have to find a way to be able to do it.
Perfect. And so like, I guess so many questions, and we're going to get to all of them because we want to make sure that you guys walk away from this show being able to say, hey, I'm ready to do my first show. Either I need to get approved, or I need to go get some items to sell or whatever. But you should have enough knowledge to be able to walk away and do it tomorrow if you wanted to, or tonight, I guess. So talking about giveaways, right? So what does that look like? I mean, obviously there's a bunch of different ways you can do giveaways. You know, I think I've heard somebody talk about stickers or giving away an iPad or giving away all kinds of stuff. How do you think about a giveaway?
Yeah, so whenever you come into the platform and everything, the giveaway was actually a brilliant idea from Whatnot. And basically, you are giving something away to somebody. You already bought the item, whether it's a sticker, or we give away like a lot of beanies and actually like clothing items usually. So you're giving away something and you're covering the shipping for that. And in order for somebody to enter that giveaway, so they click a button to where they enter a giveaway, and you have it set up to where they have to follow you to be able to enter that giveaway. So it's free. It's not free leads, but it's kind of like paid leads for you essentially. So like you do the giveaway and say you have 50 people that enter that and 30 of them were not following you. Well, now all those 30 are following you. So they might be at one of your next shows. And then one person is actually going to win that giveaway and you have to send it to them for free. So that's how it works out. I don't like doing a lot of the free giveaways. And the reason being is because you don't want to attract people. There's people on Whatnot that they just go from show to show to show. And the giveaways are only 5 minutes long. So they're entering this giveaway. And then, okay, I didn't win that one, so I jump in the next show. And then they're entering this giveaway. And there's people on there like that. You don't want those type of customers. So what I do is I find ways to reward our actual buyers. So what we do is we give away a free backpack or like really nice purse or something like that to somebody every show. Whoever has the highest bid in our show, whoever bids the highest, they're getting a really nice item on the wall. I'll hang them on the wall so everybody can see it. And then whoever buys the most items from us, I like to reward them as well. And then I'll do a really nice buyer's giveaway, which a buyer's giveaway means that they purchased at least one item from you and they hung around till the end to be able to see if they won that buyer's giveaway or not. So that's how I like to invest my money in the actual giveaways. The free giveaways are good for leads and it helps you build your audience, but Whatnot automatically sends them a notification to follow you if they've watched your show for 30 seconds. And if somebody's not going to watch your show for more than like 30 seconds or a minute, they're probably not going to buy from you anyways. They're not that interested. So you don't want those types of customers. So what I do is I invest in the people that are actually spending money with us and showing up to the different shows and stuff like that. So that's how I feel about it. But that's how it works though, is like basically you're trading a cheap item for free followers. Oh, I think you're
mute again. So if you think about it, so let's say if you have $150 in inventory, you have a $50 giveaway, you know, you've spent $200 effectively on that show, and you're trying to make $200 or more to say that more than 200 because you got fees and stuff, but to make sure you're profitable. So if the number is 250 or 300, that's what you're shooting for after you've sold all these items. So one thing that I have heard about, and, you know, seems like to be a place where you can, you know, maximize or, you know, kind of create some additional margin is on shipping and being able to bundle.
Yes.
How does that work?
So again, it's kind of your brand and how you want to do it. There's so many different ways to do shipping. I forget the name of the girl, but I'm following like this really, she's been doing it for like 3 years or something like that, selling on Whatnot. She's very successful. And how she does, I learned this technique from her, is basically you can take clothing items, because she sells clothing as well. So I like to follow people that are like-minded in that area and kind of do that. And so basically, like, the customer will pay a $5 fee, and then it goes down to like $3 and then $1, and then they're getting free shipping up to that 5 pounds, because Amazon uses UPS as their main carrier, right? Whenever you're sending inventory to them. Whatnot uses USPS, and there's a ton of advantages to that. But you can go in and tweak the actual settings and stuff to try to maximize how many items somebody can bundle in those priority boxes before they're charged for shipping again. And for clothing, if it's like a lightweight clothing item, you can get 7 shirts or 7 items as long as they're around like 11 ounces each, which a normal like men's large shirt would be. Once you get into hoodies and stuff, that's a whole different ballgame. But you can bundle 7 items and they're only paying $9 shipping. That's a pretty good deal for somebody. So it's just learning those different techniques and stuff like that. Shipping is one of the biggest things. I would say that's a snag for a lot of people. And I'm sure, like, as we put a guide together and stuff like that, we'll talk more in depth about, hey, click this button, click that button, and the actual details in it. But that's one thing that we struggled with probably for our first 3 shows, is just figuring out like the shipping behind it. But I would just say, just use the most simple, like the templates that Whatnot has when you're first getting started. Just use those, and make sure you measure your items. If you have a shipping, like a postal scale, make sure you're actually measuring some of your items, because another advantage to Whatnot is the sellers are actually paying for that shipping up front. You don't have to pay any shipping, but if you get it wrong and it weighs more or it's bigger than what you put in, then you cover the shipping on the back end. So you just have to be careful of that.
All right, perfect. So how often do you go live, and how long are your shows?
So in Q4, we were going live as much as possible. So a big mistake on my fault, and I'll admit this, and I've already apologized to my wife and stuff like that. We took a big hit on Amazon because I was so passionate about Whatnot, and we were on track. We could have done probably 200,000 in sales in December, like easily. This year, like, we just had all the systems and everything in play, but we literally stripped all of our capital that we were spending from Amazon inventory, invested that into Whatnot, into getting everything up and running. And we were doing probably 5 shows a day, or not a day, but 5 shows a week. I apologize. But that's a lot of work, and that's a lot of wear and tear on you and your sleep and stuff like that, because you want to maximize when most people are on, and that's in the evenings and on the weekends. So you're sacrificing a lot of time. If you have a family, you're sacrificing a lot of that time with your family whenever you're first starting out to be able to do the lives. And then the next day you wake up and you're filling orders. I mean, it's a lot of orders. You're selling through inventory like crazy. So you could be spending 3 hours or 4 hours filling boxes if it's just y'all, if you don't have a team or anything. And so it's very time consuming. And then setup, we do a really nice setup. We hang all of our items. You don't have to do that, but it is very time consuming. But so we were doing 5 times a week, long story short. And now we're cutting it down to 3 times a week. And then this week we have 4 shows. Every other Saturday we decided to do a show just to kind of do like a mega show. To where we sell through, hopefully like 250 to 300 pieces in that one day. But we take every other weekend off just to kind of spend family time and go and travel and do the things that we want to do. So we've scaled it back. I would say when you first start out, probably 2 shows a week is good, especially if you have a full-time job. I'd say even 1 show a week is going to be good, because the time that you have to invest is a lot. If you are successful and you have sales, it is a lot of time for setup and then also for the shipping.
And so Amanda was asking, this was an earlier question, you talked about, just the time investment. And, we know for Amazon, like if you want to do Amazon, 30 minutes a day, go do some sourcing online, or, do some shopping while you're at the grocery store, you can do that. But for this, it sounds like there might be a little bit more of a time commitment. Can you just talk about what that looks like?
Yeah, so I was actually going through my day, and I'll kind of walk y'all through like how much time I've actually spent. Let's see. So on an actual day where you have a show and you've already sold out. So like if you do back-to-back shows, that's when it gets really tough, because you wake up I get my kids to school and stuff like that. And then I'm filling orders. If it's a good show, I'm filling orders for an average of 2.5 to 3 hours. And that's me and my wife cranking on these orders. Today, I think she said we got like 92 orders out the door today. And that's between Amazon. Usually for Amazon, most everything I do FBA, but I still have some stuff in the warehouse, and we do like FBM for some stuff. But that was maybe like 6 or 8 of my orders. Everything else was whatnot. So we had about 92 orders that we had to actually fill. It took us, anywhere between 2.5 to 3 hours with both of us working on that. And then I'm really big. I don't ever skimp on my fitness. So I'm actually training for a marathon right now. So that's very time consuming as well. And so my fitness, that takes about 1.5 to 2 hours of my day between if I have to meal prep that day, run, whatever the case. And then it's getting back to work. So my kids are in school or in daycare. So then I go to show prep after I get done with my workout. And show prep takes us anywhere between 2 to 2.5 hours to actually hang all the clothes, make sure everything's ironed out. Because you want to check it over, right? You want to make sure there's no stains, tears. If it's clothes and stuff like that, you want to make sure that it looks really presentable so that it actually gets top dollar. I know people, like, they'll just pull stuff out of a box or out of a tote. It is called random pulls, and they'll just pull stuff up. It might have wrinkles on it. You might see a stain, whatever the case. And I've been guilty of that too. We've had a couple of embarrassing times to where it's like we didn't see that it had something on it. You show it in the camera, and then boom, there's a stain on it, or it's torn or something like that. Like, that's gonna happen to you. That's perfectly normal. But we take a lot of pride in the prep, and that's gonna take 2.5 hours. And then each of our shows takes between 2 to 3 hours to perform as well. So as you can see, I mean, you got easily 7 to 8 hours tied up in this thing if you have a show and you have to prep packages in the same day. And that's just to operate a show and to get things out the door.
And I would say, so for you, just because of the where you're at from a selling perspective, and what you understand about the platform is, hey, I can come on and have a dumpy show and make $50, or I could have a well-presented show and make 100. So you're talking about a time commitment where you want to be well prepped. You want to understand your inventory. You want to make sure your inventory is good. Obviously, apparel is different than, oh, I just got a box of like electronics. So here's a printer, here's a label maker, here's a charger. Like, that's different than having a bunch of shirts that could be wrinkled or whatever, or if you have sneakers that you're just pulling out of a box and you don't need to prep. So I think it depends on kind of what you're selling and how good of a show you're looking to pull together, right?
Yes, absolutely. So it goes back to how much money you want to actually make. So say I'm sourcing each of these items and I'm paying $3 per shirt. That's like a rough average. I pay anywhere from $2.50 to some of the stuff that I buy is like $9, $10. And that's kind of like my limit. So I can get Under Armour, Nike, stuff like that. I'm looking for that stuff under $10 because I know that realistically it's probably going to go for $20, $30, $40 in a show. So my rule of thumb, and I've actually got this from ChatGPT. Me and ChatGPT have talks every day. But basically, if it's under $2, it needs to make me 2.5 times the sale. So like if I pay $2 for it, it needs to sell for about $5, which obviously that's easy to do because I start at $5. If it's around that $4 mark, it just needs to sell for double, and then I'm making the money that I want to make. So if I buy something at $4, I have to hold up that item. This is a rule that I have for myself. I have to hold it up and say, will this sell for $8? Is this highly likely to sell for $8? And whether I like it or not, whatever the case, if I'm like, probably not, then I put that item back, or I just walk away from that. And I've become very disciplined in doing that because that's where people lose money is they're like, oh, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy this. And then you get into a show and you have all these $5 sales whenever you start out, or $3 or whatever you start at. And you're literally just wasting your time. You're not making any money. I wouldn't say it's a waste of time because you are learning. But I'm here to make a profit and to provide for my family. And I'm sure a lot of y'all are as well. And in order to do that, you have to have disciplined buying rules set up in place to be able to do that. So me adding that time into my show, that is justified because if I have something that's wrinkled, it might go for $6. If I iron it out and it looks real new, if it looks brand new, like it came from the actual like store, then I might get $10, $15, $20 for that. There's no telling on how high it can go because people are buying on what they can actually see. And if they see a really nice item that's brand new with tags and I speak about it, really well, then it has a high likelihood that's going to sell for a lot more than if I just pulled it out of a box and I'm like, hey, here it is, buy my stuff. So we put a lot of time into it.
And so a couple more questions. I got a bunch of questions still, so we're gonna get through these quickly. What happens if you have an item, let's say it's for $5 and it doesn't sell for $5? Like, what do you do with that? You try and put it on at the end of the show, or you sell it for another show, or like, how does that work?
Yes, so I'll try to get quicker in my responses and stuff so we can get to everybody's questions. No, I got you, man. But I know I can. I love talking about this stuff, so sometimes I go longer. So the short version of that is if it doesn't sell and it's a 2-hour show and I just showed it in the first 15 minutes, that's going back up again. I'm showing that thing at least 1 or 2 more times because people are constantly popping in and out. So somebody that wasn't there before, maybe they're there later in the show and they want the item. So I'm showing it again.
Okay, perfect. And let's just say I'm in my office right now, down in the basement, and I'm looking at I don't know, some Oral-B mouth something. I don't know what the hell it is. Me and Brian picked it up. There's like 5 there, right? Is this like, would I ever like sell one and then say, hey, I got another one? Or like, that's not what you would do? Like, how would something like that work?
No, absolutely, man. So say like you have your Oral-B, I love having these conversations, man. This is like, if I could do this every day of my life, I would have it made, this and whatnot. Like if I could do that every day, that'd be awesome. But, so if I'm holding up the Oral-B and, say I want to get, say I bought it for $5, I want to sell it for, around the $10 mark. And the first one pops off and somebody bids it, they take it for like $15, $20 for that thing. Then hell yeah, I got another one. Like I got 4 more of these. Like I wouldn't say I got 4 more, but I would say, hey, I have another one. I would start the auction for that one. And if it goes above the 10, then hey, I have another one. And you just feed the audience. You feed the audience. The opposite is true. So say like I have 5 of them. I don't say that I have 5 right out of the gate because you want that scarcity, right? If you have 20 of something and somebody's like, okay, well, I'm going to let the first person take one, the second person, everybody's going to have one in the audience, and then I can get one for $5. That's going to be their mindset. They're trying to get stuff for as cheaply as possible whenever you go to an auction. Anybody would do that. That's smart. So with the Oral-B stuff, I would show the one, and if it only goes for $5 and I paid $5 for it, I don't have any more of those. It's on to the next item,
Perfect.
So I wouldn't lie to anybody, but you're not going to advertise that, hey, I have more of these. Who else wants one for $5? Like, that's just not smart.
So if like a couple like related questions, is there a minimum time you can do a show, like 5 minutes, or does it have to be 30 minutes or an hour? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so I don't think there's any minimum time. We've been on shows and like I've tried a couple of different things and they failed horribly. Like whenever I first started out, I was like, okay, I'm going to start selling to other resellers and I'm going to do like a case pack of stuff. So I was given like really good value, but I was trying to sell 10 items in a box instead of like my customers normally see me selling like one single item, boom, that goes into auction. But I was trying to be like other sellers and put like multiple things in a box and then start that at a higher bid. It didn't work out well. I think we were on maybe 15, 20 minutes and I was like, all right, I'm pulling the plug on this thing. Like, I apologize if I waste anybody's time, but like I'm dipping out here. So you just gracefully get off and just kind of dissect that and move on to the next thing. But I've also seen people, they've scheduled a show, they've went live, and then they had something go up, maybe something with their kids or whatever the case, and they get off right away. And no explanation, no anything. Like that's not a good way to go, but that happens. So there's no minimum to answer your question.
Got it. Perfect. So, and another question is do you set up your, oh, hey, thanks, Amanda, for coming. Really appreciate it. And thanks for following Vernon. Well, I'll catch your next show for sure. Do you structure your show? So like, let's say you have 150 items, right? Do you structure your show to be able to show everything, or are you just trying to do what you can in an hour or two?
Yeah, so I'm trying to show everything. Does it happen all the time? Absolutely not. But I am. So if I set up 200 pieces, well, that's like 2.5 hours of my life that I'm never going to get back. So I'm trying to sell every single one of those items. But does it happen every time? No, it doesn't. there's times where like we'll have racks of clothes and then we'll have stuff on tables and stuff like that. And I'm not able to get to everything, but my objective is to get to everything and at least try it once to see if it would sell.
Right. Okay. Perfect. And then, so Lark has a question. He's a fellow Amazon seller. And he was just curious on your 200K that you probably would have done. Do you have a sense of like, conservatively what your margin would have been on that?
My margin for Amazon, like net profit, my ROI, I don't buy anything less than 50. And then my net after all the fees and everything like that is usually 20%. 15% would be low. I'm usually at a 20% actual net profit at the end.
Sweet. All right. Sorry for the random question, but I wanted to make sure everybody was getting served here. And hey, Lark, appreciate you coming on. Here's a question because, and I only like, I devour educational content at levels you just wouldn't understand. And so I heard this somewhere, I don't know where, but it was like early days. But I heard somebody, it might have been you, actually, I don't even know, talk about boosting a post for more visibility and that it worked really well. Have you ever done that? Did I hear it from you or am I making that up?
Boosting like a show, you mean?
A show, not a post, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so I boost every single show and I truly believe in that.
Okay, talk about that. What does that even mean? I'm spitting words out of my pocket. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I think that's like a promoted show, right?
Yes, promoted show. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, whenever you go into your show, even before your show, there's a promotion button, and there's 3 different ways that you can actually do it. One of them is your community can actually donate money to boost your show, which is pretty cool. Once you get that maxed out, like Whatnot basically puts you on the front page, and you just have a flood of new people coming in. That's really cool. Another way you can do it is you can promote your show like hourly. You can either do the entire show, or you can do like, hey, I just want to promote for the first hour just to kind of get some momentum or whatever the case. That's what I do every show is I'll promote it sometimes just for an hour. Sometimes I'll do the entire show. And then you can put, it's just like a Facebook advertisement, basically. Like you can put, hey, I'm going to put $50 towards this per hour. How many customers is that likely to bring me in? And it'll give you an estimate on that. And then there's another one. I forget the name off the top of my head, but basically it's like a radical boost to where it's 15 minutes of them just flooding you with customers. And that is more expensive. And I've tried it a couple of times and it hasn't worked as well for me as like people coming in the entire time basically of the show. And it'll show you who's coming in under the promotion. And it usually always pays off. So at the end, it'll say like you paid $100 to promote your show and you made $300 in sales from that. And then you got this many new followers and stuff like that. So,
so what does that look like? And if you said it, I might have missed it because I'm actually watching Whatnot right now, bringing more questions to me. So like, is it like an ad where I'm paying like a dollar per person who comes in, or is it like, hey, $10 and you'll get on the front page for an hour, or like how does it structure as far as the fees cost?
Yeah, so whenever you set up your first show, you go into it and you click on, it'll have a little promotion button like on the screen for you. Your customers can't see it, but you'll be able to see it. So there's like a notes section where you can add notes in so your customers can see that. And then there's a promotion little button. You click on the promotion button and then you set up the amount that you would want to actually spend for those top 2 categories. And then there's a community one on the bottom. I don't ever like tell my community, hey, donate money so we can like boost my show or anything like that. But sometimes people are just really nice and they'll either give you a tip, which is just free money for you, or they can pay to boost your show. And then once it reaches like, I think it's like $30 or something like that, then it'll give you like a ton of new people in your show. But yeah, you just click which one you want. You set the timer. If it's the hourly one, you just set it for, I want it for the entire show or I want it for an hour. And then it'll say, okay, your show is set, and that's it. You can go in and edit it later if you want. So if you change your mind and you want to lower or increase the amount, you're welcome to do that, and it's not a problem.
My first show, like what would you say for me or anybody who's going to do their first show? $10 is good, $30. Like what would you think makes sense? Or like if you have like a certain target you're looking at, like what's kind of?
I think we did $20 our first show. Okay. So I usually do more than that now. Like last night I knew it was going to be a pretty wild show and it ended up paying off really well. But I think last night we boosted it. I think it was like $50 an hour that we paid.
Okay.
And it definitely, the ROI was really, really good on that one. So we're happy with that, because you got to think about, not only is it bringing more people in and those people are purchasing, but they're also bidding when there wouldn't have been a person there to bid against somebody else. So instead, it might take an item from going from $5 to $8. And then how many times does it take that to make that worth $50 in 1 hour? You know, the math is just really good on that. If it's bringing in more people, you're getting more bids, it's paying for itself, and you're getting more followers that would have never seen your page if you didn't actually boost it or promote it.
Right. Now,
so I'm a firm believer in it.
So this actually leads into another question. So I'm watching a Whatnot show right on top of our call, and I'm watching this woman. She's selling sneakers, Uggs, Nikes, Adidas, and I guess maybe this is wholesale, because it actually makes sense, because I saw somebody selling like a pallet of sneakers for like $7 a piece. So these are selling for like upwards of $40 and $50, even though these Uggs have to be worth more than the $60 they're going for.
Is it the shoe bus?
No, this is back-to-back sales.
Okay, yeah.
It's a woman selling, and she's on camera. Oh, actually, so Jesus. So first of all, are you on camera when you do this? Because I was watching Santi's show. He wasn't on camera. Like I see both ways. Is there a preference on whether you're on camera or not?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not comfortable with it, then don't be on camera. There's no rule that says that you have to. But I believe in it because, like I said, it's your brand. Like, if people never see my face, or they, you know, I'm not giving them thumbs up or anything like that. Like, they never see me. They just see the items and stuff like that. You're not building that relationship as much, in my opinion, as if you're actually on camera and like interacting with people in the comments and stuff. So I'm a firm believer. It's either me or my wife that's going to be on camera at any given time. And it's never just, hey, we're throwing this item up and please bid on it.
Now, this is not to objectify your wife, but do you see any difference between when you sell versus your wife?
Yeah. She'll tell you. So honestly, like, I wouldn't even have to get paid to sell on Whatnot. Like, if I didn't have to do the prep and I didn't have to do the shipping and stuff like that, I would just go live and just interact with people and just try to sell, because it's the wins for me. Like, it's playing the game for me. Like the book, The Infinite Game, right? You're just trying to keep the game going as long as possible. That's how I feel with Whatnot. Like, we'll be up until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'll still be as energized as whenever we first started. Most nights, right? Most nights. But yeah, I mean, I just have an energy that I think my wife doesn't have for it. It's just not one of the gifts that God gave her necessarily. Like, she's very organized and she's great in other areas. But for me, like, that's one of the gifts that I had, is like the energy to be a salesman and to just be able to talk to people. I think it is something that's really helped us on the platform.
Right.
So there's definitely a difference.
I was actually going a different direction, because I remember when I was interviewing Amanda, and you know, she was like, oh, you know, Whatnot's for anybody can do it, but it's also even better if you're a beautiful woman, and it doesn't matter. So you don't.
Right. Yeah. If I was a beautiful woman, then yeah, it would be even better. Yeah, for
sure. So you do think there is value in, if you happen to be a woman, or if you like, if it's like, if you, it's different because you sell better than your wife, but if you guys were even, right, like she could sell like you sold, would you have a preference to have her on camera versus yourself, or you?
Yeah, she looks a hell of a lot better than me. My wife is beautiful, but she's just not as bubbly, and she's just not passionate. Like, I could hold up like a Members Mark item, you know, from Sam's or whatever, and I will just like pour my heart and soul into that item every single time. Everything I pull up, I'm like, these are the features of this item, and I'm just like adamant about that. Some items I can't get that passionate about, like I have some men's purple shirts, and I know I would never wear that. No offense if you are into like wearing purple or pink or anything like that. I can't pull it off. And so I hold those up and I'm like, hey, this is what it is. Here's the brand. This is what I got. And I don't downplay it or anything, but if I have something that like I own, so like some of the Callaway shorts and stuff like that, those are amazing. Some of the Gap Fit stuff that we sell, absolutely amazing. If it's an Under Armour hoodie and like I love the hoodie, I will just pour my heart and soul into those items. And my wife she never did like a sales job or anything like that. So she just doesn't have that same energy. But looks definitely matter. I mean, she's a beautiful woman, and but I think a lot of the buyers on Whatnot are actually female. So it's not helping us out that, she looks attractive or doesn't look or anything like that. Yeah. So
got it. So here's another one, because I'm still watching this woman, and I see on her, well, first of all, she's doing a giveaway, and there's 130 entries, which I don't know if those are people who purchase, because there's 230 people in here. I don't know how she's doing her giveaway because it's on mute, but she has a moderator, and somebody was asking earlier, do you need somebody to run your chat?
No. So it is harder to do solo. I've done solo shows before, and it's been successful. I would recommend, if you have a spouse or you have a friend that would jump in with you, just do it with them. It's much easier with two people whenever it comes to like tagging the merchandise and all that stuff. But you don't absolutely need a moderator to get started. You could do this if it's just you and you're set up and like where everything is. You're fine. It's just to kind of help with the comments. So we take size preferences. So if like all y'all were in the chat, I would say, all right, hey, welcome in. Go ahead and drop what size you're looking for like men's night, and we'll be sure to put you on the list and get to your size. And that's one of the features that we kind of offer that other shows don't offer. And it helps to have a moderator that can kind of write down those sizes. And I'll ask my wife, I'll be like, hey, what size do we got next? What size do we got next? And we try to go down a list and keep it fair with showing those different items and stuff. But that's not something that you absolutely need to get started.
Right. So again, I think you're still running a narrative. Like, if you want to start this by yourself, you don't need experience. Right. You can just get started. You can kind of figure it out as you go, and that's okay. Now, I'm looking at you because Nick just mentioned that you have nice photos in your shop, and now I'm on your shop. Like, are these items, these products here, like, are they available for buying when you're not auctioning? What am I looking at here?
Yeah, so that's our actual storefront. So my wife, like I said, she's the organized, neat one. So those are her photos. Okay. And so we actually use AI. There's all different kind of apps and stuff out there to get. I forget exactly which one we use, but there's all different kinds of photo apps and stuff. But you want your stuff to be neat. But yeah, so that's a shop that runs 24/7 for us. So the cool thing about that is it's kind of twofold. So our shop, you could go in there right now. You could buy the items. We can run flash sales on those even when we're not online. So like I can say, hey, for the next 4 hours, these Adidas shoes are 20% off or something like that. And anybody would be able to see that stuff. And you can also pull those items from your shop into your show. And some people run their whole business like that. So like you do a show and you pull that item into your show and you say, hey, this is what the item is. It's called a buy it now, or abbreviation would be BIN is what you'll see. But basically it's a buy it now, and somebody just has to say, hey, I want it at this price. There's no auction. They just take it at that price.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you just, because I'm like processing at the same time. So I see an item in your store right now.
Yeah.
How does that become a buy it now? Somebody requested from your live auction?
So you could buy it right now. So that's why it's a buy it now, because you could click it and then we'll send it out to you tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I see that.
Yeah, that's how that works. Or if I'm running a live auction, I could take any of those items that are in my shop and I could say, okay, now next, instead of an auction going up next, we're going to do a buy it now, and I'm going to run an additional 15% off of this. So like last night, we had some Buffalo jeans, really nice shirts, and we had all sizes. So we pulled that into our auction and we said, hey, we're going to give a 15% off if anybody wants to buy that. And we had 3 or 4 sales just from that.
Right.
And then they're paying that. I think we had it running for like $12.50 or something like that, which is a really good price for those. But we had it running for that price versus if they were just buying it from the shop and we're not online, it would have been like $15 for them. So That's how that works.
And I think you talked about this a little bit, but as far as a beginner category, there is no beginner category. It's just whatever you have, right?
Right.
Anything you have, anything that you can source cheaply, that's where you want to start as a beginner, right? So if we're talking about Lark, he gets sneakers by the caseload, he should start there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And now it's interesting too, because I don't know how Lark sources his sneakers, but I'm watching this woman and she's selling a lot of stuff cheaply, which I'm assuming she's getting at like crazy wholesale. But it could be different for Lark, who might be getting a pair of sneakers at like $30. Like, does it make sense on Whatnot, or is it better for Amazon, right? And it just depends on, how cheap you can get something. Okay, so that makes sense. Something you mentioned a little bit earlier, and I don't know if it's just in that email from your show or is it in general? So I know, like, if you use Instagram, I use Instagram a lot, and their edits app gives you like crazy analytics, like views and like how posts are doing, blah blah blah. Like, does Whatnot do a really good job on giving you analytics to help you run
Absolutely,
your business?
yeah.
Okay, like what does that look like? Can you give us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so you're gonna run your show. So you go live and everything like that, and no matter how well or how poorly you did, doesn't matter. It's gonna give you a analytics review afterwards. So you have to wait a few minutes after your show, and they'll say, "Hey, congratulations, you did your show." It's funny because some people post like they had no sales and Whatnot. I'll still tell them like, "Hey, great show." It's like, no, that's not a great show. You didn't sell anything.
Right.
You just wasted your time, but you learned, so you didn't waste your time. I'm a firm believer in that. But it will send you an email right afterwards and say like, "Hey, you were on for this long. You sold this many items. These were our fees. This is what you got paid. This was your average." It's called AOV. So it's like average order value is very, very important. That's one of the metrics that you want to actually track. So for me, a show is good if I get above a $7 AOV. So average order value. So each item that was purchased needs to be $7 or higher, which means that it just needs to get bid up twice. I start at 5, it just needs to go to 7, and that needs to be the average, and I'm making good money. Last night was $11 AOV,
Wow.
which is insanely good. Yeah. So I honestly, I couldn't even sleep for a little while. I was so excited about that because we had a really good crowd, and starting to build my brand and everything. And it was just a lot of fun last night. But so that's one of the metrics. It'll give you that in there. And then it'll say like items sold. Here's your free giveaways that you gave away. Here's what you paid for shipping. It breaks all that down for you. So it gives you everything you need to get better for your next show. To say like, okay, for my next show, I either need to go longer. I need to speed up how much I'm selling per, few minutes or whatever the case. I need to find ways to increase my AOV. Like there's different techniques and stuff that you can use to try to tweak those metrics to where they're in your favor. And then the cool thing is once they're in your favor, you're going to still have good shows and bad shows, but there becomes this snowball to where all your shows are good shows. And then that's how people are getting rich on the platform.
Perfect.
Yep.
Oh, and I didn't realize that was Nikhil. What's up, man? I didn't realize that was you. Thanks for stopping in. So let me ask you a question. So this is your second show. We've done 2 shows together. So, you're good on the call, and obviously that makes a lot of sense. So you're doing Whatnot shows, but were you scared, nervous on your first show? I mean, I don't know if it matters whether you're doing your hands or you're showing your face, but how was your first experience? Was it nervous for you?
I just knew. So I'm kind of weird in that, like, I have literally been able to just turn off my feelings to a lot of stuff. So like if something's scary or something is like, I just don't want to do it, I know that probably what I want to get out of that is on the other side of whatever I'm delaying doing. Right. So like, me running this year, this is a stretch for me. Like I've done half marathons and stuff before, but now doing like a marathon, that's outside my comfort zone. But I know that it's getting me in really good physical shape in areas I've never been before. I'm uncharted territory. Whatnot was the same way. I was so excited to start our first show. A little bit nervous because you mainly not in front of like getting in the camera and stuff like that. Like I'm cool on camera. I'm fine with that. But it was just, I didn't know everything, I didn't do enough research to where like, I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't know how the shipping was going to work. I didn't know any of that stuff. So I think that was my biggest fear jumping in, is just like, okay, I know I have to learn this. I know I'm going to suck whenever I first start. That's just part of the game. But it's just putting one foot in front of the other here and just like kind of jumping into this thing. So I was super excited. I think my wife was excited about the opportunity. We just knew that it was kind of starting over, though. We knew that Amazon was just kind of something that we have on the back burner, and then Whatnot could potentially be our future. And so that was kind of the nervousness that I felt like for my first show. So.
And I think I'll say, just for people who are nervous about being on camera or doing your first show, number one, you don't have to be on camera. You can do faceless. If you have a spouse, a partner, a friend, they can do it for you if they're more personable. You know, and Vernon, I didn't even really realize this until now, but you know, you aren't like an objection guy, like you're like a solution guy. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm nervous. Well, you know, it's just because I'm excited, right? Like it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't find the issues, you find the opportunities. And so
yes.
if you are worried about starting Whatnot because it's new, you don't know, blah blah blah. Like I just saw on like I've been sick, so I was really hoping to do my first Whatnot show today or yesterday, but just didn't work out because I've been in bed, right? But I was just on Instagram before we started, and I saw a liquidation place. They're doing Dollar Wednesdays tomorrow, so I'm like, I'm going there.
There you go. Yeah,
I'm gonna buy a bunch of
it.
stuff, right, and
Yeah.
see what happens, right? And you know, if you're in this game, and I'm not that Vernon has changed my mind. You don't have to lose money, but if you're in this game and you haven't lost money on a bad purchase, or you haven't done something that you made a mistake, like this probably not the game for you because you're gonna make mistakes. So
Yes.
I'm gonna go spend, I don't know, maybe $100 tomorrow and see what I can buy. I want to get the reps in. You know, most of the people, there's a lot of people on here. I know, you know me. I talk a lot about reps. If you're not doing it, you're not going to figure it out. You're not going to learn. You need reps. So I want to go get my first rep in. I'm going to go buy a bunch of $1, $2, $5 things tomorrow and see what I can do on my first show. Because I also want to take advantage of Vernon was kind enough to give me his invite code. So he'll get a little money. I'll get double my money on my first $150. So I think that sounds like free money. So I don't know how I could lose money.
I did that, and it's amazing. Yeah, it's a good feeling to get an extra 150 in your paycheck that you didn't have to work for.
Right. And so also I'll say that Vernon's kind enough, he'll give you a free 15-minute strategy session.
Yes.
So if you sign up with his code, you'll get that for free. So feel free, no pressure, but I mean, why not? So I would just say get started because, you know, hey, maybe Whatnot's not for you. So, you know, Amazon's not for everybody, Walmart's not for everybody, eBay, whatever. But it seems like such a great opportunity. So many people, not a lot of people aren't doing it. And so if you could get in, you know, Walmart to me is like getting in on Amazon when Amazon first started. So like you should really be running there. And by the way, somebody just told me they got approved overnight. So I know we've done like 3 Walmart shows and people are like 3 months. People aren't getting approved till end of January. She just got approved overnight. So go try that Walmart thing again, but definitely give it a try. Kiki asked a question about previews. Do you think that there's a value to doing a preview? Is that helpful in your show, or do you just do that to try and make money while you sleep?
The preview,
like where you have your items in your store?
Oh, the buy it nows?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do that because going back to the AOV, right? The average order value. Yeah. So if I sell something in my show and it's a bad show, my AOV might be $6, but it's not going to be $6 for the buy it now. It's going to be, you know, $10 or higher and stuff. So the higher end stuff that I have that I question if it's going to go for what I want it to go for, we put it in the buy it now. And then worst case scenario, it sets for a couple weeks and then I run it in my show anyways as a buy it now. And I give somebody an additional discount for them to scoop it up.
Okay, perfect.
So it's a strategy for me is what I use that for. And I would highly recommend that for everybody because when you're sourcing inventory, you're going to sort stuff between, hey, I just need this thing to move. And if it doubles in price, like that's great. And then I have the higher end stuff. So say like there's a jacket that I find that's 90% off and I'm still paying $60 for this freaking jacket, but it's like a really nice winter jacket. Well, I'm not going to run that for an auction. I mean, you could start it at like, you know, $70, $80 or whatever the case. But instead of taking that chance, put it in the buy it now where somebody could take advantage of that and buy it 24/7 and then charge the 200, you know, if it's worth far more than that, charge $200 and then you're guaranteed that you're going to make a profit with that. So that's kind of the strategy behind it. And then also if I'm not live on an auction, these items are actually selling my brand for me 24/7 because people are going to the buy it now and they're saying like, okay, what do they got for Nike or what do they got for Gap? You know, for this section, oh, there's names, you know, right there. And they have like all these different items to choose from. Well, I wonder if they run any shows or anything like that and have any other items that they sell. And then they go and maybe they follow me and bookmark my show. And because of my wife doing that and investing the time in the buy it now, every single day, almost every single hour, I bet I could get on my phone now and I have new followers. Like every hour or every couple hours, there's new people following me. And it's like, how is that possible? Well, I do post stuff on social media, but a majority of the stuff is just them going to the buy it now, seeing my items, and then seeing what else I got going on. So I'd highly recommend that.
So another good question is just as you think about like how you manage your actual shows, do you have like a scripted like, hey, I have a $5 blah blah blah, and you know this is actually valued at $30. You should bid now. Like, do you have like a set like script, or do you just wing it?
I'd recommend it. I'd recommend a script. I don't have a script, but that is something that I would build out in the future. I do think that my show, it'll never be completely scripted, but it has a lot more structure than when I first started out. I'll say that. Last night was a prime example. I told my wife, I was like, I told you, like, if we do this, this, and this, we've just been tweaking so many different things. And I was like, if we did this, this, and this, and we follow like this script, it's not me necessarily saying anything, but like how the show's structured and how it goes. And it just flowed so nicely that it makes me want to have more of a routine for like how I do my shows and stuff. But as far as like, should you say a certain thing, you don't want to come across as robotic. I'm very much myself. Like I'll say dumb stuff during my shows and stuff to try to make people laugh, or I'll compliment my wife, you know, randomly and stuff to make her feel good during the shows and stuff like that. And like that's some of the flavor. That's just who I am. That's kind of what I've thrown into the show. But I think that you should get into a routine to where it's like every show, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. And you build those reps that you talk about. And then that's only going to help you to improve moving forward.
And let me use a quick random one, because I'm watching 2 shows on Whatnot now, like a nutcase. It's
addicting, man. It's addicting.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even have the intention to buy anything. And I don't think I've ever bought anything on Whatnot, honestly. Not because people don't have good deals. It's just, I'm just on there to learn. But it is addicting to watch people's like strategy and watch how they do it. And then you don't know what item they're going to pull up. So it's like, okay, what do they got next? You know? So it is very addicting.
And I'll tell you, the aesthetic of having a beautiful woman in the background does matter, because this is a beautiful woman here, and this is just some random guy selling computer stuff. Not obviously say anything about his looks, but he's just a random dude, right? This looks way better than that. But do you do music or anything, like backgrounds? Like how is your show set up?
So I am fortunate enough, like everybody that's probably on this call tonight knows that I like to talk a lot. So I can fill the void with just talking about the item or just saying random stuff. But if you're not that type of person and you don't like talking a whole lot, I would recommend music on there just to kind of keep the vibe and keep the flow going.
Okay, cool. And that's cool. No trademarks or anything like that, like, or copyright.
No, there should be no issues. I would just say like play something that's appropriate. Like if you like, you know, sometimes I'll listen to like gangster rap and stuff like that whenever I'm working out or whatever. It's like very rare, but like sometimes I listen to inappropriate stuff, and wouldn't recommend that for like your show. So like country music, Christian music, like something where there's not a lot of swearing or anything like that would be appropriate. And also it's kind of building your brand as well. You know, if you're playing country music, I love country music, you're going to attract people that like country music because they're like, okay, I can hear some good songs, buy some items, and that's kind of the vibe for this show. So it goes into building your brand.
All right, and I'm going to close out because I think we went through all the questions, and I got just a handful more or whatever, so we can get out of here. Which I really appreciate you going over a half hour, because we're didn't even notice. Didn't even notice. So here's a question. I think we talked about this a little bit, but maybe we can dig into this a little bit more because it actually came up. But you know, talk about sourcing. Like you talked wholesale. Like, do you do liquidation pallets? You know, things like you know, kind of Amazon returns. Like if somebody's thinking about doing this and like, hey, let me go spend a couple $100. Like my sister was like, she sent me a picture from Facebook and she's like, $650 pallet, we should buy this. I mean, like, why do you want to buy it? I know why I would buy it, but like, you know, like there's all kinds of ways to get, you know, inventory. Like are any of those types of things that you're looking at? Or
yeah, so I have one source is my main. So I'd still recommend like Walmart, Target, Kohl's. Whenever they do their big sales, there's a lot of opportunity there. Okay. Because you know, people that are selling on Amazon or some of these other big platforms, they can't take advantage of every opportunity because they're gated or whatever, you know. But on Whatnot, you can take advantage of any opportunity that's like 80, 90% off. So I still have those, but for the most part, I do wholesale. I have a wholesaler, and then some of it is liquidation as well from the same source. So some of the stuff will be like not new with tags, but a lot of the stuff is brand new actually from the brands with tags.
Right.
And they're buying, I don't know how much this dude spends. It's probably an insane amount of money, but he's got a really good business, and we're probably their best customer. So just latch on to somebody that is not like super well known, and just see like what kind of deals. I just talked to him actually earlier today, and I'm like, hey man, you gave me, this deal last week. Would you still honor that same deal for this week? And just kind of wait them out to see, like, let them collect inventory and stuff. And then whenever they run a big sale, say, hey, I'm planning on buying 1,000 pieces or 800 pieces. Like, what kind of deal would you do with that? And just kind of always be working it out. And another thing I'd recommend is don't just have one source, because you never know when that's going to dry up. So if this company goes under, or for some reason this guy wakes up and he decides he doesn't like me anymore, or whatever the case, you have to have like a plan B. So whenever we first started out, we were getting a ridiculously good deal. I can't really talk about how good of the deal. I mean, it was one of those deals where I told my wife, I was like, we have to spend every dollar that we have in our business. And that's what I said. I stripped all the money from Amazon and we invested in this. But the deal was just so insane on new clothing and shoes. I couldn't pass it up. But just finding those deals are out there to where you could spend $1, $2, $3 on really nice stuff that people would be happy to pay $10, $20, $30 for. But don't go single threaded though. Like, just like you don't want to sell on just one platform, I would not recommend that. I would never go fully Whatnot. I'll always keep Amazon or whatever else is in the future. I wouldn't recommend going single threaded on a sourcing strategy either. You want to make sure that you have multiple suppliers. So. But find a supplier, find somewhere you like to source. Maybe it's Walmart, or maybe it's Ollie's if y'all have an Ollie's available, or maybe it's a liquidation store. Get in really good with them, and just constantly go back, and then you get to know the people, and they start sending you really good deals. And that's kind of what happened to me and what we fell into. So.
Perfect. And so we'll take last minute questions before we close out, but I just want to give you a heads up. A couple things. Number one, his referral link is in here. Remember, he's going to get a small commission. You are also going to get $150 matched on your first $150 in sales. So like, even if you have a bad show, you should be profitable, right? I mean, we're extra $150 free dollars. So consider that. And if you use his link, which is in the notes and also I think pinned in the chat, he will give you a 15-minute strategy session on top of what we're doing here. So I think that is absolutely incredible. And then also anybody who gave their email tonight, and you can still give your email, we are coming out with how to start selling on Whatnot course. And so once that drops, probably in the next week or so, it's going to be freaking insane. You'll get 25% off that course. Don't worry, Vernon, I'll take it out of my money. No. So that's going to be absolutely incredible. So if you're interested in that, you can drop your email in the chat. And let's see if I see any more questions. No more questions. So we will. Oh, wait, here we go. Customers are not. Oh, no returns, right?
So you can set it up to where people can return items if you want. We do no returns. Have I done returns in the past? Yes, I have. So if we mess up an item, so what I've done is like we showed an item, and then later on we're packaging up this item and we see that it has like a small stain or a spot on the back or whatever the case. Whatever they paid for the item, I'll put the cash inside of like an envelope or something, box it up to them, and say, here's your item and here's your refund for this item. We didn't notice that it had this defect. And I'm cool with that because we're not losing. Yeah, you lose that sale, but like that has made me so much money doing that. Usually it's like a $5 or $6 item whenever we first started out and we didn't have some of the processes that we have now. But I would refund a customer like that if they go through Whatnot and say like, hey, they sent me this item, it's jacked up, whatever the case, that actually dings your account. So there's a grace period and stuff like that, but they can get a refund that way, and you never want that to happen. Or I'll have a customer that's like, hey, I didn't mean to get this, or my daughter swiped or something crazy. And if it's a one-time thing, then we'll just refund them. But if somebody runs up an item, like I had a guy last night, he spent $81 on one item. He wanted the highest bid to get the Nike backpack. So it was worth it for him. But if he comes back and says, hey, changed my mind, don't want this, whatever the case, I would not give that person a refund because they cost somebody else the opportunity to actually win, highest bid and win the item that they actually won. It just really depends on you, but you don't have to refund anybody, no.
It might be me, I might be stupid, but I just want to get the nuance here. So you say, like, let's just say I got this Spider-Man hoodie and then I sold it to Gwen for $20, right? When I put it in the package, I realize there's a rip on the back. What I do now is I send it to Gwen, maybe put a little note in it and says, hey, I didn't realize this had a rip on it. Here's your $20 back.
That's what I would do. So I'm not saying that anybody has to do that. I'm just saying that's how my brand and my business operates. Me and my wife came up with that rule to where if it's on us and it's our mistake, full refund in the box. We still send them the item, no questions asked. So yes, you are. So say if it was $20 or whatever, you take that hit, but you are building such a strong bond with your actual customers and stuff. There's no way they're going to come back. I'll give you an example real quick. I know we're running long on time tonight, but this is one of the stories that will make you want to sell on Whatnot. So I had a guy, it was early on in our Whatnot career here. This was probably like September, early October. And my wife, so she was rushing orders. I was away. I not trying to throw her under the bus or whatever the case, but I wasn't there for the shipment. And I don't know if it would have changed if I was there, because usually she'll take charge of this. But she switched half of somebody's order into somebody else's box and then half of their order into another box. She was doing two things on the table at once. We don't do that anymore. And so it was like $140 for the wrong, like to the wrong person or whatever. It was a big order for both of these guys. Well, one of the guys we reached out to and we're like, one of the guys reached out to us and we're like, okay, we're going to investigate, see what happened. We realized that she made the switch. She admitted the mistake. She's improved, whatever the case. But it was a $140 mistake on the one end. We refunded the guy the entire $140. We sent him a shipping label so he could send us back the wrong items because we're going to try to send those to the right guy. The guy that was the right guy that we needed the items and we needed items back from him never responded. He just ghosted. We're like, all right, it's our fault, whatever the case. So I guess he was happy with the items that he got that were wrong. No worries on that. But the guy that we refunded has spent literally thousands of dollars with us because we corrected the mistake and we sent him back the $140. He said, I will shop with you again. He sent us back all of our items that we sent that were wrong with the shipping label. And then he has shopped with us so much. He was actually on our show last night, and he bought most items for that show. He bought like 24 items last night from our show and has spent thousands of dollars with us. And we would have lost him as a customer if we didn't do the right thing. So we just said, like, hey, if it's ever our fault, it could be a $5 mistake or a $100 mistake. We're going to make it right by the customers, and that's just how we do business.
And I respect it, and I think it's insane. I love it. But what? So like, I just don't understand. Maybe I'm missing, and I get it. It's your brand, so I get that part. But if I make, like, let's say I don't put your $5 T-shirt in there, and it's a $25 order. What makes you say, or I put a hoodie in and it's got a little rip in it? What makes you say I'm going to give you all of your money back and give you the product, instead of just giving you the money that I should give you back? Does that make sense?
So how much money should you give me back? So if so say the Spider-Man, your Spider-Man hoodie has.
This is a bad example. So like if I should give you a $5 cup and a $2 brush, it's a cleaning brush, right?
Okay.
And I don't give you the $2 cleaning brush. It seems like your perspective is I'm going to give you the $7 back instead of the $2 back.
No, that's not it. So the 140 was $140 of this guy's stuff was missing from his case.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a $140 order. Got it. Okay.
No, yeah.
I missed that part. Okay. And then one more logistical question. I know I said it was the last question, but if you look at, so like one thing I think I see sometimes, and I think it happens a lot of off camera, but sometimes when it's a single person stream, I think I see the person do it. When they put like a number on the item, like, is that to help you track who gets what?
Great question. So I'll hold up, like, say I got my muscle milk here, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, this is item number 1. Y'all go ahead and bid on this. Somebody gets it for $3, whatever the case. Well, my wife, she actually handles that, but you can do it yourself. This will be item number 1. So if it doesn't sell, then now this tape is item number 1. And if that doesn't sell, then this is item number 1. When somebody actually bids on this and they get it, then we slap a number 1 on this, and all of our stuff is hung. So we just put it on a rack, and it just goes in order. Or if you have boxes, you can just, I've laid bins down before, and I've just put them in the bin with the number on them as well. And then the numbers just count up until you're done with the show, and then that's how many items that you sold.
And let me ask you another question, right? So is there a scenario when, like, so let's just, I mean, you should be organized, but if you're not, like, is Whatnot saying, hey, item 1 was a sneaker, item 2 was a cup, item 3 was a pen?
Yeah, so they do better than that, actually. Whatnot, I'm telling y'all, they invest so much into the sellers. It is absolutely insane. So Whatnot will actually have a video recording of me on screen selling the item. So whenever I hold up the tape, it's like, okay, this was, so you say like item number 1, I need the video receipt to show, because this is mislabeled, or like I'm just questioning whether this is the right thing or whatever. You just hold up, well, you click the button for a video receipt, and it'll say, hey, I've got this tape dispenser right here. You know, it's blue and it's got like a third of the tape still on it, or whatever the case. We're going to start this at $2. And then it'll show all of that so that you know exactly what items sold for that number.
Okay, perfect. And then as a really quick last question, but it seems like Whatnot is like, it is amazing, right? Is there a lot of like seller, like, are there like videos and stuff like that people can look into, like
yes,
like how-tos and stuff? Okay.
Yep. So you can go on the platform, sign up for your account, go into the seller. They have a documentation for all of their stuff. They have a chat bot that you can talk to. I'm pretty sure it's just AI. But you can chat to that'll help you solve your problems and actually give you the links for all the stuff in there as well. And then I believe, I've never watched any videos on there, but I believe they actually have video logs of like how to do different stuff as well. But I know I've used the documentation that they have, like the SOPs that they have inside their platform. Right. And it is very, very well written and very well thought out to be able to help you to solve your problems.
Perfect. And all right, the last, we got one more question from Santiago, who always asks the question when he's on a call. So I'll let you get in, buddy. And I know you were just live, so shout out to you for your first live show.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just did my first live show. Won some money, lost some money on other things, you know, first show. So, and it was just kind of a.
Like, wait, hold on. Did you sell stuff out of your freaking case? Because your case looks crazy. What happened to your case?
No, because right now that's actually where I put the camera there and showed all the products. So like I sold a lot of Pokemon. Like I sold
nice.
I sold like this SPC, like for example. I sold like a lot of Pokemon. But now my question is, right now I have to go and ship these. But like it shows the prints, but like how do I make it for my 4x6 printer? Because like it just shows as if like big. I don't know how to explain it.
Oh, to make the label smaller?
Yeah, like this. Let me show you. So I'm low-key gonna dox myself really quick, but let me see if I can put you block.
I'll block it.
Okay. Whatever. Like how do I get it as a 4x6?
That'd be somewhere in the settings, man. So that screen that you just had is going to print off 2 pages. So one of them is a receipt for you to show that you're putting the right things in the right box.
Yeah.
And then the bottom label, you said you're trying to get the USPS label just a little bit smaller.
No, like because like just in the 4x6 format. Because like in the other one, it's not proper. So it can come out of my thermal printer. You get me?
Yeah, I mean, I just use a normal printer, man. So that would be something in your settings. Honestly, not trying to be a smart butt or whatever, but I would just say, like, ask ChatGPT, like, hey, I'm on Whatnot, and just say, hey, I'm on Whatnot. I'm trying to print this and get it to this size, and it's going to give you like a step-by-step guide of what to do on that. But for me, I just use a normal printer.
Okay.
And what we do is we chop the first part where it says like the different items and stuff. My wife does all the checks on the computer, and so we don't waste paper. We just print the USPS label, and that's it. So.
Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't directly answer your question, but yeah, man, I would just ask ChatGPT, just ask that same question, and it'll give you like a step-by-step, like, hey, you do this, and then you do this, and then you do this.
Santi, there's got to be like direct print options in there somewhere. There's
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah, there
This
has to be.
dude's doing hundreds of thousands of units a day, man. There's no way that they're doing what he's doing without like real like 4x6s. So
Yeah.
I think it's just investigate.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is research. Okay. So now let me see. So I right now I had my first show, but now next show I know for a fact I had like a bunch of like miscellaneous like Fugglers, Legos, like and other stuff. But for the most part, I lost a little bit of money on the other stuff, but made a lot of the money on the popcorn on the Pokemon. So next time I think I'm gonna just do like rip and ship, just like have like packs and stuff, because I think that people were just going crazy when I whipped out the Pokemon every time. So I think that's kind of like the move. But yeah, it was a blast. It was a blast for the first one. Definitely gonna refine it, because it was just like my phone was overheating, and like it was just like I don't know, man. It was just a mess. But it's still a blast. So I'm ready for next time. So we're learning. We're learning.
A pro tip for you, man, since you actually are getting started, because I love people that actually take action. So one thing that I think would add a lot of value to your show is I call it buyer's choice. So whenever I have an item, I do clothing, so I'll do multiple sizes. So for you with Pokemon, if you could show 7 Pokemon at one time, people are no longer bidding for that one Pokemon card at a time. Now they're bidding against all 7.
Yeah.
So you have one person that wants this one card, another person wants this other card. They don't know, whoever wins that auction, they don't know what the other person's going to choose. They don't want to lose out on their card. So then your bids will actually go higher with that stuff. So buyer's choice is like a huge thing to where you can have multiple different options for somebody to choose whenever they win. It does slow down your auctions a little bit, but if you're trying to like have your AOV go higher, so your average order value, if you're trying to bring that higher, having those different choices for your customers is going to be huge.
Awesome. Okay, so buyer's choice, right? Okay.
Yeah, so say you got like a Pikachu, Charmander, and a Bulbasaur. They would be better to run against each other than if you just have like a Pikachu card up there, and then, all right, somebody gets that one. Now you put Bulbasaur, and then somebody gets that one. If you had all 3 of them, somebody's wanting the Pikachu, somebody's wanting the Bulbasaur, and somebody's wanting the Charmander, and then that bid's going higher and higher, and they didn't even want the same card, and then that one card's gone, then you're like, all right, now we only have these 2, and it's going to help your average order value to go up because multiple people are in on that bid versus just 1 or 2 people that are bidding against that card.
Awesome. Okay. So yeah, because for the next one, like I said, I'm definitely gonna do Pokemon because I have a lot of Pokemon. Like I have a lot of prismatic packs, like sealed packs and stuff. So I know those go for a lot. I just have a lot of Pokemon, so I might as well just lock in on the Pokemon side, because everything else, like I either broke even or just lost a little bit of money. But first show, so I didn't really. It's part of it, right?
Yeah, you're learning, man. Yeah, you're learning.
What were my total sales? I did $325 and estimated earnings $281. So not bad for the first show.
Well, I mean, it depends on what your items cost, obviously, but I mean, you're getting experience, man. That's the big thing, and you're starting to build a following now. People knew about you that didn't know about you before, so that's huge.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for answering the questions.
All right. So, like I said, if you drop your email in the chat, you'll have access to the notes, all of his contact information, the offer for the extra $150 on your first $150 in sales. Also, we are coming out with a how to start selling on Whatnot course, probably be out in the next week or so. You will get 25% off if your email is in the notes. So we'll send out an update about that next week. And that's it for now. I think the next call we have is a live stream on Thursday, which is linked in the chat. Thursdays and Saturdays at 9 o'clock are the new live stream dates. Next week, we will be sourcing for Valentine's Day. And Pamela, I don't know if she's here. She was here earlier, but we are going to have a show in the next couple of weeks, how to run your business from anywhere. If you like Bali, that's where the guy is at. So you can definitely look for that. So more great stuff coming. Really super excited about all the stuff we have going on. And don't forget, they just announced Miami Sellers Conference. I'm not affiliated, but I will be there. So if you're thinking about going, we're going to be there. It's going to be insane. And people will tell you it is one of the great shows for Amazon that is out there. So check it out. And we'll be back. Vernon, thank you for coming. Really appreciate all your time and your knowledge.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of fun.
Also, a little thing about MSC. So this is actually a brand new development. My family's most likely is going to be the ones supplying the food for and we're going to have it in our restaurant or one of the restaurants we're affiliated with. And Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Like we have like filet mignon. We have because the thing is, my dad. A little bit of background is my dad. He's been a chef and he's worked in all high end restaurants. So top quality meat. So anybody who is going to MSC, highly recommended. The food's gonna be awesome.
Another reason to support. Yeah, knock it.
sir.
Come on down. Come on down. All right, guys.
All right, man. Thank you. Y'all have a great